New York, 10 p.m. Snow fell silently, blanketing the train platform in white. The dim yellow lights cast shadows on the gray snow. Each snowflake seemed to fall slower, against the stillness of a late winter's night. At the central station, the last night train was preparing to depart, crossing several states toward Chicago. Inside carriage number 7, weary passengers slowly boarded. The wind howled softly outside, and time seemed to pause in a compressed silence. A middle-aged man stepped on board. Gray coat, worn brown shoes, a tired face, but eyes still sharp. His name was Ethan, a former military doctor. He rolled his suitcase neatly and found his seat, 14B by the window. His heart, too, seemed to be dragging a suitcase, not filled with belongings but with memories. He placed the bag on the rack and sat down. Beside him was a young man, head bowed, a wrinkled jacket, worn-out shoes, and a backpack clutched tightly to his chest. He slouched, feet up on the seat in front. He didn't look up, but his eyes, hidden beneath a black beanie, said one thing clearly: "Do not disturb." That was Caleb, 28 years old, lost in this city, and maybe in his whole life. Ethan sat quietly. A heavy silence hovered between them, mixed with caution. Outside, the train began to move. The metallic clanking echoed like a long thread of memories being dragged along. Two strangers, two souls full of scars, began an unexpected journey on the same night train toward Chicago and toward themselves. The train glided steadily on icy rails. Outside the window, the city lights slowly faded, giving way to silent darkness. Most passengers had fallen asleep. The rhythmic clatter of wheels played like a quiet, melancholic song. Caleb leaned against the glass, eyes distant. Then, suddenly, he spoke. "You're really a doctor?" Ethan turned, surprised. "How do you know?" "Your wallet fell earlier. I saw your ID card." Ethan gave a faint smile. "Just a nod." Caleb scoffed. "I hate doctors. My mom died in the ER. No one did anything. They just stood there, cold like machines." Ethan said nothing. He turned to look out the window. That sentence, like a silent knife, lodged deep inside. After a while, Ethan spoke, his voice slow, like recounting an old dream. "I once lost a young soldier, 19. His wounds were deep. I did everything I could, but I couldn't save him. That night, I stood frozen at the operating table for 3 hours, just asking myself, what if I had done something differently?" Caleb turned, looking at the man beside him as if for the first time. Ethan lowered his head. "Since that day, I've never operated again. I left, and I've carried that regret ever since." Caleb was silent, a different kind of silence. Not avoidance, but empathy. Outside, it was pitch black. Inside the carriage, only a few dim lights remained. The only sound was the heavy clatter of wheels passing through unknown lands. Caleb suddenly asked, his voice low, as if ashamed of what he was about to admit, "Have you ever thought about ending it all?" Ethan turned to him, pausing for a few seconds. "I have. Once." Caleb inhaled deeply. "I was planning to do it after this train ride. I have no one. Nothing. I don't even know why I'm still here." Ethan remained silent, then gently said, "You know, if I had done it 10 years ago, you and I wouldn't be sitting here today. People say, as long as we're still breathing, life still has something waiting for us. Maybe someone who needs us. Maybe someone we need to save. Maybe ourselves." Caleb lowered his head, saying nothing. But for the first time, his eyes didn't avoid the gaze of another. Suddenly, the carriage shook violently, a loud noise. An elderly man in the front row stumbled and collapsed, his head hitting the armrest, body starting to convulse. Screams rang out. Panic swept through the carriage. Ethan sprang up and rushed over. He checked the pulse, irregular, weak. He prepared to start CPR, but his hands trembled. That familiar tremor, the ghost of war, had returned. No, not again. Caleb rushed over, kneeling beside him. Do it! I'll hold his head. Ethan paused for a moment, then nodded. He began chest compressions. Caleb held position. They moved in sync. Sweat poured, but their focus was unwavering. Minutes later, a breath escaped from the old man's mouth. He gasped, then slowly opened his eyes. The whole carriage erupted in applause, sighs of relief all around. Ethan fell back, gasping. Caleb sat on the floor, smiling, a genuine relieved smile. Train staff rushed over, expressing gratitude. A passenger turned to Caleb. Are you a nurse? Caleb shook his head, laughing softly. No, but maybe I'll try to become one. Ethan placed a hand on his shoulder, voice calm and steady. I believe you will. No more words were needed, just a look, filled with understanding and belief. The train stopped at Chicago at dawn. The first light of day sparkled on thick snow. A peaceful morning after a long, silent night. Caleb stood up, slung on his backpack. Before getting off, he turned to Ethan and quietly said, I'm going to check out the Veteran Support Center. They have nursing courses. Maybe I can start over. Ethan said nothing, just smiled. You're not starting over. You're just beginning. They shook hands, a firm handshake. No words needed anymore. Life is a journey. Some are long, some short. Some carry happiness, some are filled with pain. But sometimes, on a train that seems meaningless, we find the most important thing, kindness, and another human being, also waiting to be saved, just like us. And then we realize, when we reach out to help someone, it might just be the moment we're reaching out to save ourselves.